What's up, team? It's Joe Mill here with Killer Miller Q. Coming back at you today. We're going to be doing a special cook here on the Lone Star Smoker. We got smoked chicken lollipops. It's going to be something that's wallet friendly, something that's great for the kids, good for the family, and good on the stomach. Promise you're going to like. All right, so let's dive into this chicken prep. So we're gonna jump right into how we're gonna be putting together these lollipop drumsticks here. First things first, we'll go over some of the things that you're gonna need for today's cook. Like always, you're gonna need you a nice sharp knife. Doesn't necessarily have to be the biggest one you got, but something small that you can actually work with. Your kitchen shears that you can actually use on your meat. You want your disposable gloves. Today, I'm going to be using a couple different rubs. One, I'm going to keep a little bit lighter and not too much heat on it. So my little one can have that. And then I'm going to put a little bit of kick on there. I'm about to be trying out some of Blues Hog, which I love their rubs. This is a raspberry chipotle. So I wanted this one. Then while I was in the store, I couldn't help it. They also had one of their sweetened savory seasons for chicken. So I'm going to try that one as the basic. And then the one that's going to have a little bit more kick for myself, I'm using Kinder's red garlic here. And this is a red garlic. It's got crushed jalapeno and garlic. And there's a little bit of salt in here. This tastes pretty good. So it should have a nice little kick. And then we'll finish both of them on top with some of this raspberry chipotle barbecue sauce. But other than that, you're going to need some aluminum foil. I've already cut mine into small little squares. So I'm going to be pretty much covering up the bones on his lollipops. And then the handy dandy organic extra virgin olive oil. So let's dive right in. Oh, and if you have it, this is an optional thing. You can literally cook this right in this disposable pan here. If you do, I would probably add about a stick of butter and let that melt down, and that'll kind of be more or less the bottom base, just to kind of have it sitting in something so your bottom ends don't get too charred. Or if you actually have one of these racks, pretty cheap, they're pretty cool. Pretty much you'll be able to hang these and then they can sit there independent, get a nice crisp all the way around. We'll be using the rack today. So that's an optional item, but one way or another, whether you go disposable pan or the rack, that's what you're gonna need. I pretty much already put these together, but I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do. So basically we're starting off with the classic, good old fashioned drumstick that we've all seen. So nothing too crazy. Obviously you won't clean your meat however you choose or pat it dry, whichever school you from. And then from there, the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of start working this skin down. Okay, I've made the majority of these already, but I wanted to show you how we're gonna do a couple. So as I pull this skin down, pretty much what I'm doing is making sure that it actually coats the whole drumstick. From there, I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna be going all the way up to about the part where it really starts to get fat. And that's where I'm gonna make me a cut all the way around in the 360 circle, all the way to the bone. There's going to be some tendons and things in here that you're going to have to end up cutting through. So make sure you go ahead and grind it a little bit on the bone. From there, we got our 360 cut all the way around in the circle. All I'm going to do is start to pull that end up. If I see some of those tendons, I might have to cut through them again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all of this meat on the back end. This is an easy recipe. I think literally I paid less than $4 for all of these drumsticks. So cheap recipe. Definitely if you got kids, they love having something with a handle on it, a little lollipop. I like making the lollipops too, even though I don't think anybody really doesn't like a drumstick unless you're more of a flat person. But one thing I like about the lollipops is all the meat's up towards the top. You clean out a lot of the little bit of tendons and some of the other stuff that's not too pleasant on the palate. And being that once it gets out there on the smoker, I found that all dark meat just comes out a little bit better. It gets a little more time to render, and I think you get to actually get to what you want. So now I kind of got rid of that top end. I pull it right over that smooth part of the knuckle, so we actually get this knuckle exposed. And I'm gonna bring you in close so you can see exactly what it looks like. And then from there, if there's anything up here at the top that you don't like, you can kind of clean that off with your knife. But a lot of this stuff is going to kind of go right with the rendering process, and it'll kind of be going from there. So I'm not too worried about it. So the next thing we're going to do is, once again, we're going to be kind of pulling everything down. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab it at the bone, right? And then I'm going to grab the back end of the bone, and what I do is I just push everything down. Okay, not so much the meat. I'm just more or less cupping the meat and using my hand against the bone as a guide. Push everything down, and then I'm going to pull that skin to the point where it's right back over the whole piece of chicken, where I'm covering up, for the most part, all of the meat. Make it nice and pretty. And then there's going to be some stuff that you're going to see right here on the ends, whether that's meat or if it's some of those white looking tendon things. I'll try to get rid of that as much as I can. But here's something that, and some people leave it, because some of that's just going to render out and it'll probably get rid of it anyway. But here's something that we do want to do. We want to get rid of this sharp little bone that runs right along the side of the bone itself. It's almost like a toothpick. So a couple ways you can do this. What I like to do, let me cut the skin off. What I like to do is, first off, find it, okay? You can literally use your hand and kind of separate it back a little bit. Or what you can do is, and I will put this on the cutting board so you don't mess around and cut your hand. Lay it on there, and I'm just going to use my knife right along the bone. And all I'm going to do is go down as far as I can. And then if you just turn it, you'll hear a pop, a little pop sound. And that's it breaking a little bit away from the bone. From there, once I got it pulled away, I'm going to take my chicken kitchen shears, and I'm going to take it in there as low as I can and cut it. And then from there, we'll pull it right out. Okay, so nothing too hard. And then from there, if there were more of those tendons or anything like that you didn't like, I'm going to kind of use my hand and close up that hole so it's not too gaping big. And then, like I said, let's shape it. And that's it. There's your lollipop. Okay, pretty simple. I got one more that I didn't do, so we'll do it again. First things first, pull all the skin down. Start the process of kind of getting it to look the way you want it to look. Okay, from there, I'm gonna grab it at the other end. I'm gonna be going up with my knife to cut this right about where it starts to get to the fat part and where the meat is more or less at. I'm gonna do a 360 cut all the way around, making sure that I cut out those tendons that's still there, and obviously making sure you don't cut your hand. Okay, so now we got our 360 cut all the way around, got the skin pulled down. All I'm gonna do now is pull back that side, going towards the knuckle. Okay, we're going right in that smooth groove of the knuckle. And if you've eaten chicken, you probably literally bit the knuckle off of the top. It comes off pretty easy. You can pull this whole thing off, but there's always some junk that I need to clean up anyway. So a lot of times what I'll do is pull it to a certain part, and then that way, so I don't mess up my chicken or nothing too much, I'll just go ahead and come in with the knife and clean it up from there. Because one way or another, I usually end up coming in with the knife to clean out something that I don't like, some tendons or something like that. So all we're gonna do is clean up that bone to your liking. Get rid of this. Couple little pieces. Okay, and then once you get that looking pretty much the way you want it to look, the next thing we're gonna do, once again, is smooth this baby back out, get that skin down. I'm gonna grab it, right? Basically almost like I'm doing the OK sign. Okay, grab it with the bone kind of sticking out the top, and I'm gonna pull the bone down, and I'm gonna push away, which is just pushing that chicken down and kind of compacting it. Like I said, the one thing I like about the lollipops is it ends up where all of your meat's on the end. It's a nice little cluster of meat, so it actually usually comes out pretty juicy, and we take off some of the things that you don't like, so it's literally just more meat in every bite. Okay, so now I got this thing kind of shaped up. I'm looking for the little toothpick along the side of the bone. You can start to pull that back with your finger. If it's kind of one, sometimes you'll get some that's a little tighter than others. If it's too tight, use your knife, push it down all the way to the bottom, push it away, give it a little turn. You'll probably hear the break, and if you don't, you'll give it a little pull. Then I'm coming in with my shears, and then I'll hold it, going as low as I can so I can get rid of as much of it as I can. I don't want none of my family or anything that end up coming out and catching that little shard. And then we're just gonna cut it right out. Boom. Just like that. Alright, so now you got that out of there. If there's anything else that you don't like, you can get rid of it. Any tendons, anything like that. Pull the skin. Okay sign. Give it a little push. Bam. There's your chicken lollipops. I'm gonna bring you in here so you can see what the rest of them look like, as I pretty much already put together this whole little package. I'm gonna do, like I said, a couple of them. Half of them I'll do with a little bit of kick on them, and the other ones I'm gonna keep respectful. Hold tight. Alright, so this is what it looks like once we got everything kind of layered out. I'm gonna make these, since I got a couple small ones on this side, and my little girl will be having some of those. I'll keep that one on the light side with more of just the blues hog, and then finish it off with the raspberry, and then some of these bigger ones, those are the ones I'm gonna hit with a little bit of heat. So here's some of those, just since you're in closer, obviously you can't really tell, but just that little bone that you're getting. This thing is actually pretty sharp, so that's what you're actually taking out. But first things first, this is what we'll do. I'm going to hit these with a little bit of that olive oil, just so we got a little something to keep our skin pretty, and a little something for our rub to stick to. I plan on cooking along today at 300, and these are probably going to take about an hour and a half, maybe close to 2 hours. Being that this is the dark meat, I'll probably be going for roughly about 175 on these when they're done. Like I said, once they're at 165, we're safe. After that, it's going to be about me getting a nice crisp on there, making sure I can get some nice bite through skin, and making sure I got a nice looking color, which I shouldn't have an issue with. So now that we got some olive oil on these, nothing crazy. You can go under the skin and pull the skin back and season it, and then turn around and pull the skin back up and season that too. I'm not going to do too much of that today. I'm keep it pretty simple with these lollipops. All I'm going to do is come right over the top. And with this one today, on the lighter side, I'm going with this Blues Hog Sweet and Savory. And I just want to give it a nice liberal coating on both sides. I'll give it a little pat. Give them a flip. And we'll give them the same thing on the other side. And then we'll make sure that we got a little something on the top. That one looks like he needs a little love. Alright. And make sure my top's got a little bit. Right in there. Alright, so that's those. And we're just gonna let these hang out. Sit in there for a second. And I'll be putting them on the rack. Actually, I gotta wrap the bottoms first, and then we'll be going straight on the smoker. Okay, and then with the other side, I'm using that Kinder's red garlic rub. I'm excited to try this one out. Gave it a taste. Seems like it's gonna be a good one. Should be able to get some good kick on there. I like the texture of it already. Pretty color. Kinder's is usually they don't disappoint. I'm actually noticing I put the wrong side. Now I got all the small ones hot. That's probably better though. Okay, just gonna grab them, give them a little coating. Make sure that they are sticking it. Flip them over. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Make sure we get them tops. Got to season this meat. Don't be afraid. There goes one of my gloves. Alright, so I'm going to let them hang out. I'll bring you back and at least show you what it looks like once I, well actually I can show you real quick on one now. Cover up these bones. This is something that literally you're only doing for cosmetic purposes only. Just add a little bit of aluminum foil there, And this is something that I learned over time. If you are using these racks, make sure that you make this a bigger knot at the top, just so when you do put it in the rack, it's got something that'll help it actually hold on. Otherwise, a lot of times, once you take the knuckle off of that bone, it'll be so skinny, it'll just keep falling down, especially once they start cooking. So basically, I'm gonna go through and French the rest of these tops, and then I'll bring you back and let you check it out. Hold tight. All right, so this is what we're looking like. Got all of those tips wrapped up. Like I said, more or less cosmetic so they don't all burn up. This side over here is my Blues Hog sweet and sour, or sweet and savory side. And then on this side, I got a little heat. You see those nice red pepper flakes on there. And this is the one where I got the Kinder's red garlic on there. So I'm gonna let these hang out for a second. I already got some ribs in, but that's not part of today's cook. So what we're gonna do is kind of kick this temp up now to about 300, and then we put these babies on, and I'll let you know what they look like on the rack. All right, before we get too far, I want to take a second to tell you, if you're new, thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure that you hit that bottom right corner and like and subscribe so you can keep up with the weekly cooks. Check out the description areas. It's usually where you're going to find whatever I'm using as far as products or any type of recipes that I might have. But other than that, let's get back to the work. We got these babies on. I said we're going to be pumping along at about 300. The last thing, and I see my ribs is over here getting some good color, so I didn't bring my spritz out. The last thing that I want to do over here on this chicken is I want to hit them again with a little bit of this extra oil of extra virgin olive oil, just to give them a little something to keep them pretty. Okay, so we did that, and since I didn't bring my spritz out, let's make it easy. There we go. Get a little color on the ribs. Like I said, I know they ain't part of their side cook, but gotta show you anyway. You in here. All right, let's let these babies sit tight. All right, let's take a peek real quick just to see what we're doing here. We're cooking along at about 300. These chicken lollipops are starting to tighten up, and they're looking good. Looking good. Side cook. Ribs is looking good. They're going to probably need about another 45 minutes. All right, team. So I throw me a log in. So we're just about 55 minutes in. We've been smoking pretty smooth. I hear you. I hear you. I need to wrap my ribs. They looking great. I've tried the Blues Hog out. I want to try it on these ribs too. So these ribs on the side, there's going to be a little chipotle raspberry too. But today's cook is all about these lollipops. Yeah, they looking all right too. Like I said, they done tightened up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this rack real quick. They look pretty good. And then we'll let these babies keep on smoking. I'll bring you back. Alright, so these babies is temping out right about what we want them. About 170, 177 I even saw on a couple. I'm gonna go ahead and I got my sauce over here on the grill. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and dunk some of these. It's amazing how quick this sauce heated up. I know they say that pretty much, sorry, I don't really want to get my bone too much. See if I can't bring it over there and get you a little look. All I want to do is get them a quick little glaze in this sauce, and I'm putting them right back on. Now, even though we got some light, I think this side is the Blues Hog, and I can tell because it doesn't have all the big red pepper flakes on there. You just see the little bit of pepper. And we're gonna do it just like that. Don't worry too much about getting any on the bone. Just try to get a nice little dip. Let it drip off a little bit. And I tell you, it's crazy when you actually heat your sauce up how thin it gets. So what I'm gonna do is I'll probably come back after about 5 minutes and I'm gonna reglaze it again. Make sure that you drop your temperature down. Probably about to get down to around 225-ish and roll from there. That way, now that I got this sugary rub, we don't mess up these pretty looking lollipops. I'll check back in with you in a second once we on the second round. Team, I'm just over here getting this second glazing, and I just wanted to see how y'all was doing this one for the second one. I dunked the first time through. let them sit a little bit longer. Now this is just a little quicker way to be able to get every one of them sauced up. Make sure I get the bottoms and everything. And we pretty much gonna let them finish out here. I'm already up to temp, so really I'm just kind of letting this sauce, got you a little high, my bad. Letting this sauce kind of just drizzle in. And we just kind of finishing everybody out. Yes, yes. You already know what this means. These babies are done and they are primed and ready. We just sitting up and finishing them off. So the ones that you're looking at up front are the ones that got that blues hog on it. Both of them got some of that raspberry chipotle. And that's in this front row. And in this back row, if we can kind of flip around, it's got that red garlic on there. We're just gonna go ahead go for this 360 view. There we go. Focus in on those. I'm gonna let them hang out just a tad longer, and we're gonna go ahead and get us a quick take. All right, so these babies is done. We got them plated. They've been resting for a little bit, and I'm not gonna waste too much time. I'm gonna get directly into it. So I'm gonna start off with the hot ones over here, and I'm gonna take this baby right here. Let's see if we get lucky. They look pretty. I can tell you that to start. Hopefully you got a good view on it. Perfect bite through skin. And I really, really, really like this raspberry chipotle. It's a good finish. It's actually not too hot. I like that for sure. Okay, beat the lollipop. So much moisture and juice all into one compact bite. All right, so let me try the blues hog. Another good one. This is good too. Another one bit through pretty clean. I like it. You can't go wrong with either one. Thanks for tuning in. We're in for another one. I'll catch you next week.